What is going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 171 of the Bench Time Podcast with Todd and Brett Wiley of Wiley Scale Modeling. So, we have an announcement tonight. We're still going to do our normal show tonight after this is over, after the announcement. But, you know, it's not something that we want to do. It's not an announcement that we want to make, but it's something that we have come to a conclusion that we have to make after about, 5 or so months of dragging this announcement on.
We've been kicking it around.
So this tonight will be our final podcast episode. But we're going to do a good one. We'll do a final. We'll do our whole thing where we're working together and what we're working on. And we're not going to be going away. So tonight will be the last Bench Time Podcast episode. As of now, who knows what we're going to do in a few...
171 of them, right?
Yeah. We've been doing it for 4 years straight. The Bruins just scored 8 seconds into this game. Anyways.
Oh, my God.
So, we've been doing it for 4 years straight. Whenever my dad and I started, I think both of us were in different positions professionally. And I know, for one, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but for one, I have a lot going on in my life. And the job I'm at now, I'm having a hard time even just finding time to be home. So, it's a major decision I have to make for me to hang it up. And I had approached my dad about this back in the fall, but we decided to let it go for a few more months. And my job's not getting any less busy, and I know my dad's life is not either with his current role.
Yes.
So, it's not something we are excited to announce, but this is something that, we have to do just for the sake of our own families.
We're going to still model. We're still going to be a part of the modeling community and friends with all of you. And we are still going to keep the Overtime at the Bench
modeling group
on Facebook. Our Instagram stays the same. Our YouTube channel stays the same.
We're going to be doing...
Our Facebook page stays the same. We're still going to be there.
I think the one thing that my dad and I realized with our live builds we've been doing the last 2 weeks... Oh, shit. Am I due for live? Oh, no. I'm on Monday. Never mind.
Monday. Yeah, you're Monday.
But with the live builds, we kind of got away from them for a while, and I have more fun doing those than I do the podcast right now. Just life in general has been getting chaotic for me, and this is
we don't want to make this... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it's a lot of work for me to do the podcast every week and balance my family life and balance my work life and everything else, and then try and find time to build models. So, for me, I would rather spend...
And we don't want to lose the... Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
For me, I would rather use those 4 hours a week of recording and editing to do some building and maybe go live and show you guys what I'm working on, and enjoy the live builds. I think I enjoy those more right now than I do the podcast. So,
right. And, don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun with the podcast, but it was for me, it was being on here with my son and being able to share the time with my son. And if we're both sitting here, the last couple of months, I mean, we've had great guests on in the last couple of months.
I mean, the guests have been great.
And, but when we didn't have the guests, it's been kind of hard for us to sit and come up with something material-wise, content-wise, to show you something new or talk about something new. And it's been a struggle. It hasn't been. It's kind of like it was getting to us. It was feeling a little stale.
Well, and it's hard for me to come up with content for myself when sometimes there's a week or two where I go by right now where I don't even have time to be in my basement. As much as I don't like that.
So how do you talk about building if you're not building? Right?
It's just life is just taking on a new level of busyness for me, and I feel guilty even saying it that way because everyone's life is busy. But it's just moving in a direction that I didn't expect to a year ago, and I have to just change some things up in my routine.
We've always considered ourselves just like all of you, okay? Milers that have a good time, want to crack a cold one open, which I just did, my last one here. And well, hold on, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
for a change.
Well,
Here,
you cut me off six times.
But we've always considered ourselves just like everybody else, and we learn and we make mistakes, and we met a lot of friends. We had some fun times here, and we didn't set out to become podcast superstars or anything like that. We just want to have a good time, and we're still going to continue to do that. We just want to be more like all you, and instead of having to do a show each week with that, because of our time limitations and our careers and things going on with family and life, we thought that now we can actually do more modeling, show more modeling of our own on Facebook, because we'll have more time to do so, interact with you guys as friends, we've all become. And we're going to do that, of course, in the same manner we've always done that. So I'm excited about that part. I'm excited about the fact that I can sit and get on the Facebook, and there's times where we do the show, and then after the show, I don't feel like sitting down at the bench and doing a lot more, or taking photos and sharing them and getting on Facebook. I'm on Facebook or Instagram a lot less because it doesn't fit in anymore. Or,
right.
So now I can actually do the modeling and things that I want to, and share the stuff with all you on the page, just like all you do. Maybe participate in some of the contests that are coming up, and I'm excited about that part of it. And so it's for us, it's more of a different transition. That's it. I mean,
yeah.
There's all the podcasts will still be up there on the website and available to listen to. There's 171 episodes of content.
And who knows? We might get a wild hair up our ass some night and pop one out randomly middle of the year. You never know.
Yeah. There's that option. We got the equipment and we can do it.
So it's I would think
don't
of this,
hold us to it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna be on a schedule, but I'm not saying we'll never do a podcast again.
Yeah.
Or an episode again of this podcast. It's just, right now it's just taking on more and more of a load for my schedule and my dad's schedule too than we would like. And it's not more than we've ever had before. It's just our lives have changed, and
Yep.
I know for me personally, my job is super demanding, and I didn't have that even a year and a half ago. So, things change. It's not a bad change. It's just change. Yeah. So,
yep.
But we're gonna go through our normal stuff. We got that out of the way. Everyone, we can all. It's not.
Haven't already turned it off.
It's not the end of our show. It's not the end of. It's not the end of my dad and I doing dumb stuff on Facebook Lives. And
I'm still gonna model. I still love this hobby. So does Brett. We are very passionate about what we do, and we don't want to burn ourselves out on.
That's I think the main thing is
we're not having fun.
I don't want to. I don't want to burn out and then not enjoy it. And I started to feel that. And I think my dad did as well. So, we're just going to take a little step back for a little bit and I
got a lot of stuff to model and share, and I want to do that with all those things that I have here.
We're going to do more lives. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably a very good thing to happen for us. So, anyhow, I know there'll be disappointed people and people mad or whatever.
Well, hey, don't think about it in a bad way. Think about it in a, we're going to do different content.
Right.
So
maybe we could do some videos together. And that's what we were talking about earlier tonight before we got on. And, maybe at the layout, we can do some videos recording of each other doing some work and explain things we work. I think that'll be fun too. Because then we're actually getting some work done while we're doing the building and putting something up content wise for everybody. So, like I said, it's great, and that there's lots of stuff out there. This community has grown, and there's stuff for everybody to do. There's content out there for everybody to keep going with this. It's a great community. We're all friends.
There's some new podcasts.
Oh yeah, there's been podcasts.
The new J&J's Crazy Weathering podcast. We have the Crescent Creek.
Carry the torch.
the Crescent Creek Modelers guys are doing. I think Jason and Jake and Dave are still doing theirs.
Right.
So there's a couple things going on,
and we got we've got a couple of you that were supporters of ours that came on and became part of our Overtime at the Bench group, and have branched off and have opened up your own Facebook pages, some websites, businesses. Some of you guys have there's another have dipped their hand into podcasting from there. The one gentleman from Australia, so it's great stuff, and I love that. I love to see that everything is growing in that direction. We are helping each other, and we're providing content. That's what it's about. And for these new podcasts that have come up, they're out there for you guys. So check them out and listen to them. And we are all for those guys, Jason and Jake and James and Dave. I mean, all you guys. I pass the torch. We pass the torch to you guys. Carry it on, and keep it up, because you guys are awesome. Every one of you patrons. Before we carry on,
Patreon.
I want to thank all the guys from the old Patreon. I thank all of you, but I thank all of our listeners, regardless of who you are, that you followed us religiously, even through some horrific shit that we've put out there.
Worst, yeah.
The archives are out there. You can listen to them over and over if you choose to do so. I'm not sure I'm going to, but there are some great guests that we've had on, and I thank every one of our guests that are out there that have been on and tried to help and show and grow this community. I personally still plan to see some of you at shows that I'll go to. We may actually still go and maybe do clinics at the shows, that type of thing. We still want to be involved. Okay. But, it's just, I can't thank all of you enough. That's every one of you. You manufacturers that are out there that we've had on the show, as well as guests. I mean, you've all been wonderful. Many of you we've had on the show several times, and you know who you are.
Yep.
It's each one of you has helped build this and helped build the community, and so that's huge. And thank you. We from the bottom of our hearts, we were received very well and warm from all you. And
I wanted to also
some of the great friendships that I've developed as a result.
That's what I also want to stress, and that's something that won't go away, because we just we have formed a lot of great friendships with a lot of you guys and a lot of listeners, either digitally or in person, when we were able to meet you in person.
Shit. My bottle cap fell on the floor.
Oh. We've all formed a lot of great bonds with each other, whether online or in person if we've met you, and I won't. I mean, we're not going away. It's not like we're disappearing.
Give me more time to do that.
We're not disappearing into the abyss of the black hole of people of internet past. We're going to be around. Yep. And it just will be in a different episode, in a different format. Right. So, but the one thing I do think was, my dad hit on it briefly. I want to make sure that, people realize that we didn't do this to meet people or gain any kind of thing from the podcast. We created the podcast to talk about our work and just bullshit, actually, really. So
yeah, definitely.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But before
the live show that we have going on now, the live
that'll continue.
Don't worry, we're all into that. We'll be there every Monday and see this thing through. I'm gonna have a good time. In fact, that's right up our alley right now. That's kind of what we.
My dad and I had talked. We're gonna continue doing that more than we used to if we're not doing a podcast, because it's just us working on our own stuff, and we just pop on a live.
Yeah.
So that's where that's the route we're gonna start going more, kind of on the spot lives. We might announce some ahead of time. We might just do them on the spot, and impromptu lives as well. But we're definitely gonna just go that route more.
Yep.
And you'll see us around. We're not going anywhere. So hey, enough of the sappy shit. Let's go into what we've got going on right now. This will be like our wrap up. And I'm going to share some music. We're going to do the whole thing.
Okay. Sounds good. What do you have going on right now?
So right now,
for a change.
I'm working on the kit bash. Well, so obviously I'm working on the kit from My Mount Models, but I'm also working on this kit bash, which is the last two of the previous Kit of the Month clubs from Foscale Models, which I'm excited to share some more pictures of this because it is looking really good. I'm weathering this one hard. I don't know what it's even going to be, but the shape, I've played with like three different configurations of how I'm going to assemble the walls, and I've got it down. It's going to be this raggedy ass old, like, something. I don't know what kind of business it is yet, but I'm going to make it something. And that's really what I have. That's really all I've been working on. That one in the group build. I have to catch up to you on the group build, so that'll be my next 2 nights projects here.
Well, we worked together.
Oh, well, we did a little scenery down there.
And you did a corner building thing up on that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I cut a little corner building. It's pretty cool.
I have to put a roof on that. In fact, I will share a picture of that on the show notes. I cut a DPM kit down into a corner, like a triangle shape to fit an odd angle, and man, it looks way better than the original DPM kit did.
Yeah, because we didn't know what we were going to do with that DPM kit.
It was in one of those boxes. It was collecting dust, and I dug it out. I'm like, all right, time to start slicing and dicing.
Yeah, it turned out nice, and it'll look good when it's all completed, and it's got an odd shape. It fits in a really weird little location, which will be good, and it fits in next to a very large building, so it kind of gets butts up against a large building on the back side, and it gives it a really cool dimension. I like it, and it fits in with the roads that go through, and very well done. I thought it was a good project. And when I was down there working on the other end while you were doing that, I was down doing where the Rush Rock Falls mill was, and we were going to originally put a waterfall bursting that one side stream.
Yes,
that has a slice through it. That slower moving stream was just going to be a drop off waterfall right into the harbor. But I got to thinking, where the hell do you ever see that? Where do you ever see a waterfall just dropping off into a harbor? It doesn't happen. So what we're doing is I'm building a concrete wall there.
Yeah.
At that section where it drops off, and like a small dam at the top, but that spans the width of that, and then work it in with the rest of the concrete wall, like an extension, and then I cut out 2 holes, and we're putting I made it out of styrofoam, and I'm painting it up to make it look like concrete. And we went to Home Depot, and we got what was that 3/8 inch copper tubing on the elbows.
Yes, we went to Lowe's.
We bought these 2 elbows.
Funny story. Well, we went to Home Depot. Funny story about the Home Depot trip. This will be my last bitch on the episode here on the podcast. I haven't had a bitch in a while either.
That was fun because we both participated in this.
Well,
so go ahead.
You ever been in a store and you can tell someone's watching to make sure you're not stealing, and they're doing it like blatantly? We talked about this at hobby shops. Some of the older hobby shops, they like hawk over you like, you might take something that's been on the shelf for 30 years.
Yep.
But we go into Home Depot. We're walking around, and we get to the copper aisle, and obviously copper, I understand people, it's a high dollar item, whatever. I get it.
Right.
But this store employee, we won't name what the kind of, this store employee comes up to us and my dad and I, and asks if we need help, and we both kind of said like, oh no, we're just looking, we're working on a project, we're just looking for a fitting that'll work.
Right.
And then we turned around and kept looking at the fittings and find out one we wanted, and then you could feel this presence behind you. And this wasn't even like from a distance she was watching us. This was like, she was like 4 feet behind us. Right behind us. For like a minute. She wasn't
even that far.
Watching
she wasn't
us.
even 4 feet.
For like a minute straight, just watching what we were touching and everything.
So we were looking at 3/8 inch copper elbows.
40,
$99 a piece.
Yeah, like 90-cent copper elbows or whatever.
$1.99 they were.
Still.
Yeah.
We're not even looking at high dollar copper items. And one of them. So I could feel his presence behind me, and I'm like, what in the world? This lady's staring at us, like watching us. So I turned around and I said, I'm sorry, are we doing something wrong? And she didn't know how to react. And then you turn around and you were like, well, you asked us if you were going to help us. Are you actually going to help us?
Are you helping us?
Are you helping us right now? And like, you could tell she was just like watching to make sure we weren't stealing $90 or $1.99 copper elbows.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to lift something, I'm not lifting a $1.99 copper elbow. Yeah. It was just like, man, why stare at us so close like that?
I hate that. It drives me nuts. So we got our 2 copper fittings and the copper elbows, and I cut them at an angle so they're going down. I took the one bulbless end on the end of it and cut it off, and so it looks like two big copper pipes that'll be not painted copper, or they're not going to be copper, but there'll be 2 pipes sticking out of that concrete wall that's going to shoot that water down into the harbor and make it look more natural than a waterfall. Well, not natural, more man-made than a waterfall. You know, I don't want a waterfall at this point, because I got to think about that, and I said, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So it's going to look good when it's done. I can't wait to do it. Now, the other river goes into a culvert and comes out, and it's going to go down a stream, which will be natural. And we can have that feed into the harbor. There's nothing wrong with a small stream. It trickles into a harbor. Okay, but the big waterfall is going to go out as 2 big gushing water pipes, into the harbor.
Yeah,
which will be cool. So I worked on that down there. I had a good time. We had fun. We worked for a few hours. I was getting a little frustrated.
There was some stuff not going your way, right?
Yeah, the foam paint, the concrete paint wasn't going on like I want. I'm going to do it at home here at my workbench, so it works a little better. But I want it to look a little more realistic than what it was looking, and so I'm going to do that part. But so I was getting a little. You get to that point where you get frustrated, and you have to say, okay, I'm done. I'm done today, because if I don't, things are going to start breaking.
Right.
So
yeah, you pretty much put your stuff down, and you're like, that's it. I'm walking away.
Yeah. And we went to lunch that day too on the same trip. We went to lunch,
and I got hosed.
I got shortchanged. I got hosed at Cracker Barrel.
Like literally, okay. If you were to pick one restaurant where you were to tell me I got hosed on the amount of food I got, I would never pick Cracker Barrel. Like if you were,
I always get a good meal there.
Yeah, if you were going to tell me like, man, I went out to eat, and the restaurant I went to, they didn't give me enough food, and like not like a little bit. Like it was obviously they shorted you on food.
Yeah,
I would never say like, oh, you must have went to Cracker Barrel. Like Cracker Barrel always loads your plates.
My fat ass and said, look at that fat ass. He doesn't need that meatloaf and that. So we're gonna shorten his portions.
We're gonna put him on a diet.
Portions. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, well, I don't get it unless Cracker Barrel's hurting for money and they're trying to cut back. But then I got a huge plate.
We got down to the end of the meal, and Brett goes, "Hey, Dad, do you want the extra muffin?
You want that cornbread? You want to take that with you? No, please, sir. May I have more scraps?" Then we came back. Then we came back down here and worked for a little bit, but.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was fun.
So that's the main goal. What we're going to start doing more of is working down here. The more
build our layout. This sitting.
Yeah, the less time
more than we need to.
And the last, this takes 2 nights out of my week. So if one of these nights that we're freeing up, my dad can come down and work for an hour or 2 at a time, then it gets more time for us to complete this layout and really the main goal of what we want to do.
Right.
So yeah. And we're going to share more how-tos now because we're going to be doing way more stuff instead of recording.
Oh, yeah. So on my bench,
Yeah, what's on your bench?
Well, I'm doing the. I know I said I'd be done with this thing, and I'm not.
You're never going to be done with it.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to be done this week.
No, you're not.
I decided to make some concrete chunks with rebar in it. Okay, to add to the details that are around it. Now I got the brick piles and some debris build up. I showed you pictures of that. I'll show them here this weekend so everybody can see them on Facebook. And I also have, but I poured plaster into a small plastic sandwich container, one of those Loctite sandwich disposable containers out there. We use it a few times, and you end up getting the shit to get rid of it and get new ones.
Yeah.
But I took wire, heavy gauge hard wire, and the stuff that you had to bend into place, and I cut it into strips, and I put it I stuck it down, crisscrossing it into the wet plaster in this dish, and then let it completely dry. Took it out and started cracking it with a hammer, and then taking my wire cutters and cutting it in places so it looks like rebar sticking out at different spots. And I'm going to rust those up and paint the rebar, rust them up, and put these bigger... Because when you see a collapsed building, it's not just bricks and dust, and that kind of dirt. You also have, if you look at the old World War II pictures of the wreckage, you see big chunks of concrete and plaster,
which is like
that are thick.
It's just rebar and like debris just busted up,
right, in piles.
Yeah,
with wood and everything else. So I made some of these. Now I don't have, because of the road and the building itself with the sidewalks, there's not a lot of room for a lot of it. It's going to be 2 or 3 chunks to this, okay, with the rebar in it, and maybe a couple smaller chunks without the rebar in, but which I will also paint and stain to make it look like part of the wall chunks that fell out, right?
Right.
But so I did that. I made that, and I also put the debris on the road with the bricks and the dirt and dust and stuff like that. So that's all working out real good. Now I just got to glue that down with the gluing method with the 50-50 water and put the alcohol on it first, and put the wet water or whatever the glue water mix into it, and let it go down through and dry. And then once I do that, then and I add these pieces on, this building will be good. I had the chandelier that I had to add yet. You're going to 3D print for me. And how'd that turn out, by the way?
It actually failed pretty bad.
No.
It failed. So the arms that hold the lamps, they were good, and then the middle part failed. But I actually had one started just before we started this podcast. So
okay.
The scale looked good, but
anyway, it's going to hang, and I don't want to put it on yet until the very end, because I'm going to put this chandelier inside to make it just dangling from a electrical wire.
So I'll have the other ones done soon. I'll have them done soon.
Okay, whatever. So all good.
It's just you don't ever know when they're gonna just fail on you.
I am anxious to just start, because I started doing this Wiley's Good Time Taverns from My Mount Models on our live build thing. And now I've got this itch, and I got to get this other thing done so I can get building all these HO scale kits that we have, and I get some back into what my passion is.
We got kits, we got boats.
I'm not going to lie to you. Not lying to you. I'm ordering another one of these diorama things from Foscale Models for military modeling.
Right.
I'm going to do another. But, not yet. It might not be till next year, but I'm going to do one.
Yeah, so. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I would like to do one, too. I think it'd be fun.
I honestly, I think I'm going to step myself into a little military modeling along with the along with the regular model.
Yeah, you don't have to do as in-depth of ones you've done as you did this time. You know, you can do smaller stuff too.
Right, exactly.
But
so,
yeah, I mean, it'll be fun to see where we go with this.
Yep.
So, I want to go over, and we talked earlier about this, but I want to go over all of the guests that we've had on our show. I have them actually written. I went through today and I wrote them all down in order from the time we started. So I want to thank all of our guests. First of all, before we even thank the guests, I want to thank the listeners, whoever was on our show ever, listening. Sorry, not on the show, but whoever picked it up from the very first, whoever our first play was out there, thank you. All the way to today where we're getting, 900 to 1,000 downloads on our episodes in the first week or so. Yeah. I want to thank everyone who downloads, everyone who listens. If you were ever a supporter of our show, I want to thank you. Your patronage and support of our show did not go in vain. It went to pay for our hosting. It went to pay for our podcast recording equipment. It went to pay for our podcast hosting, which is separate from our website hosting. It helped support everything that we do with our show. It just kept the lights on for our show. And, it meant a lot to us. So we had people that actually just wanted to chip in a couple bucks to help keep the show running. It helped us also get materials to continue building so we could continue coming up with more content for you, which people don't normally think about when you run a podcast like this. And then to wrap up, actually, when we're done, I want to talk about some things that we learned from running a podcast that you might not expect happen when you run a podcast. Yeah. So first, let's go through all the guests we've ever had on our show. So thanks to everyone who supported us. Thanks to everyone who's listened to us. And special thanks. You ready for this? Woo! Yeah. Here we go. I got my notebook ready. Special thanks for everyone who's ever come on our show from Stephen Hayworth.
Stephen Hayworth, our first one, and one of our first listeners.
And we had to record the first one twice. So, big shout out to Stephen Hayworth, Jason Jensen, Doug Fiscali, Kenny Crump from Casey's Workshop, Howard Zane, Bruce Nickerson, Jeff Grove from Carolina Craftsman Kits, Dave Cruzwick, Dave Frary, Frank Varga, Jimmy Deignan, Kathy Malott, Rod Poinmati, Dan Raymond, Ken Anderson, Hal Reynolds, Bob Seckler, Ron Perry, Bill Sartori, good old Bill, Ron Kleiss from Mind Mount Models, who we're doing our current live build with, Eds Camilla from Singapore Miniatures on Instagram, Jake Johnson from Crescent Creek Models, Brian and Jill Bollinger.
And keep in mind, some of these are the same people.
Well, I'm not going to double. I'm not doing repeats. Yeah.
No, we've had them on some of them many times.
Yeah, like Jason Jensen, 10 million times.
And Doug,
and Doug. Brian and Joe Bollinger.
And Jake.
Vilius oh man, I'm sorry, Vilius. Biosis.
I can't remember how to pronounce it. He told us on
Thanks,
the show.
Vilius.
I'm
sorry again for butchering your name again.
Amazing modelers, every one of these people.
Mark Schreier from Foggy Mountain Models.
Yep.
Rick and Maureen from Hunterline.
Mm-hmm.
Nick and Renee from ITLA Scale Models.
Yep.
The Blue Ridge Summit folks from the train show. They weren't on the show, but we
did the show from
they
there.
They hosted us and they treated us.
Yeah.
They treated us awesome. We had a great time with them. Dave Meek, also from Crescent Creek Models. Tom Barblay, Lance Minheim, Brian Wolf, Dave Yale, George Celios, Joey Ricard, Bob Van Gelder, Stephen Miley, Sue Cooley, Craig Brotman. Oh man, I can't even read my own handwriting on this one. Oh, Dave Rarig and Paul from the paper model guy.
The paper models. Yeah.
I couldn't read my own handwriting. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, wow.
Matthew Hankins, Jimmy Simmons, Jeff Adams, from
Yes.
what? Oh man,
From Motrack Models.
Motrack Models. James A. Powell, Greg Baker, Bernard Helen, Scotty Mason, and Dave Stanton. Dave Stanton was Jeff Grove was our last guest, but Dave Stanton was like our last new guest from the Dare Model Railroading Club. And actually, Dave's club, like we announced, we're going to auction off one of our live builds from Mind Mount Models of the Wiley's Good Times Tavern. And we're going to donate the proceeds to that to Dave's Dare Model Railroad Club. So,
Yeah.
Man, that's all the guests. So thank you guys.
That's a lot, man.
That's a lot. It took up 3 of my pages on my little. I mean, I have
one we're missing. One of the ones you did not mention.
I think I scrolled through the whole thing.
There's one you didn't, and
Who?
I'll have to find that while we're talking, because I know we have some listener questions out there.
Who was that?
But,
all right, I'll go to the listener questions.
I'm going to pull it up.
I thought I got them all.
I don't know where we find that list.
Yeah, well, I tried to go through them all. If I missed you, I apologize. It was not on purpose.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good.
All right. Oh, Frank Varga.
Oh, did you say him?
Yeah, I think I might have. I don't know if I missed him or not, but Frank Varga. Frank Varga.
Frank Varga.
Man, there's a ton of people, man. And a lot of them we became good friends with, whether digitally or on, in person, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So,
For sure. I mean...
All right, let's get over to our listener questions. Let's go down here. We have 8 listener questions. Lynn McCurdy. I'm gonna miss you giving us a hard time, Lynn, but I know when we do our lives, you're still gonna be out there doing your thing and making us laugh. All right. He's asking us, how do you feel about dry transfer decals? And he's talking about
Sue Cooley. Did you mention Sue Cooley?
I did.
As a guest? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sue Cooley, Craig Brotman, Dave Rarig, Bob Van Gogh. Yeah, I think I got them all.
Okay.
If I didn't, I sincerely apologize. It was not on purpose.
Yeah.
I went through the whole list today, and I went through every episode, and I tried to write them all down.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, well, you were questioning me, and I thought I did my best. I did my best. I what?
You did wonderful, man.
Okay. Well, I strive. I strive to please you. It's the goal of my life. Anyways, no. All right. How do you feel about dry transfer decals? Lynn asks. I'm guessing he's the one, he's talking about the ones where you, rub them.
I haven't used them in a long time. I used them with, what was the, I used them, I haven't used them quite a bit.
I think when I was younger, I used them a lot.
Yeah. I've used them on some of the DPM kits years ago. And I've had.
Well, they used to come with some of the old kits.
I've had, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what my least favorite ones are?
Yeah.
Oh man, the ones you got to soak in that.
Did you say Brett Gallant?
Brett Gallant
from Sierra West. Yeah. Brett
Gallant. That might have been the one I missed.
From Sierra West. That's the one you missed.
I am sorry, Brent.
Sorry, Brett. But anyhow,
did I miss him? I must have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. I am sorry.
Yeah.
Well, Brett Gallant. I apologize.
Yep. That's the one. I was trying to think of why. The one that, anyhow. So yeah,
I failed.
Dry transfer.
I like dry transfer better than the wet transfer ones, though.
Well,
I hate wet transfer decals.
I started doing the wet transfer ones with this military modeling, and I'm learning some tricks and tips with it. I bought this stuff that you can use to help apply it, and you put it down called Microsaw.
Oh,
it's made by Microscale, and it's a setting solution for decals. You can get it. It's about $5 a bottle. It's just a little tiny bottle. And then I had it, and it's already half gone because I accidentally knocked it over with my pinky, and half of it spilled out over my workbench. So now I have half a bottle. But because you don't need very much, you just dip your brush into it, and then you just You put it on the surface before you put down the before you put down the wet decal, and then you put the decal down, and it helps smooth it out and gets it nice. It sets it for you. And if it's, especially if it's on like a curved thing, like I was doing those beer bottles or champagne bottles, and for this 1/35th scale model, and it helps shape it around something that's got like a curve to it.
Yeah.
So that's, but it also makes it look like it's actually painted on. It gives it a painted on look, and it's nice. So yeah, I've had good luck with the wet ones. I've had good luck with the dry ones. I've had bad luck with both of them as well.
I think it depends on the age of the decals too.
Yes,
You ever worked with ones in an old kit and they don't want to fall apart and they rip and
or only half of it comes off and you rubbed it in the back with a pencil.
And then when you lift it up and you look and you're like, God damn it! It's stuck.
Yeah. Your letters are all ganked up and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've had good luck and bad luck with them.
So yeah, I mean,
Woodland Scenics make some really cool ones, and
that's what Matthew Hankins.
I've had good luck with some of the Woodland Scenic ones, as long as you keep that paper on the back side of it, as much as possible.
Yeah. So
they don't get old or the air doesn't hit them, and something happens that oxidizes or something. And something happens to that decal, and like you said, it changes its composure or its usability somehow. So. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Hankins went on to say it's hard to find. He's having a hard time finding them, and Lynn got some on eBay, and then they were going back and forth. But, I do see them less and less around. But, maybe that's just where we're at in our hobby, too. We're not looking for them. Next question is from Matthew Hankins. Is there an aspect of the hobby that you find intimidating but would still like to tackle someday? And then I have to add this in there. Lynn says maybe making a lifelike kit using nothing but tester, glue, and paints.
That would be a challenge.
I would quit.
Be intimidating too.
Yeah, and I would make sure I did it in the glossy tester's paint.
Yeah. As far as intimidating in what we do now,
no, nothing really.
I love the challenge, So as far as intimidating, I will say, working with plaster cast walls and kits, whether it be downtown deco or these 135th scale military modeling things that I'm doing with 5 scale models, or even 5 scale models, 35 HO scale walls and things. Yeah, there is, to me, it's a little intimidating on the respect that is, as I'm painting it, I'm afraid that when the paint soaks in, I'm going to end up ruining this thing, and I want to make sure it's perfect. So I am a little apprehensive when I go in, anything I go into with hydrocal castings.
Yeah,
and it's not that they always turn out good for me. I've had good luck with them. Okay. However, I panic a little bit going in. I'm a little apprehensive when I sit down to do it, and you're like, okay, I got to really be smart about this and take my time, because I don't want to booger it up, So I would say that's the one thing I get a little weird on,
Yeah.
But I love it. It's still a challenge. It's a challenge.
You know what intimidates me? What intimidates me the most?
What?
Painting vehicles.
Oh, yeah, they're a little weird too.
Like, it's nothing like painting a structure. And
I ain't Dan Raymond, man. I don't got it down like he does.
Dan's got a knack for it,
Yeah,
but
some people do. Ed's Camilla.
She's awesome at it.
She does amazing stuff at Singapore Miniatures.
So I think I did okay with my bus. Remember the bus that Jim Lassiter gave us?
Yep.
Still got to do the other one. But
my last couple vehicles have turned out decent, but they're not in no way, shape, or form of the quality that
the vehicles from Small, what's it called? Small Wonders.
Yes.
Those are nice kits.
Yeah.
And the boat, you know what? Boats don't even intimidate me. It's just the vehicles, man.
No, I don't get intimidated by boat.
Yeah. The boats, I got that one to do from...
I like doing boats.
Yeah, we got that. I have that Seaport one to do still. Seaport Model Works one.
I got a couple of them.
Which one is it?
The
Mighty Little Tug Kit.
Oh, the Mighty Tug, yeah.
And that doesn't. Yeah. I want to do it. Like I'm excited. I want to dig into that one.
Do it, man. Do it.
No, it's not. That's not what I mean. But okay. I'm excited to do that one. But I have a few vehicles. I have some Jordans and some Sylvans and some Small Wonders.
I got a whole drawer full of them. And this is the kind of stuff that
I'm intimidated.
I haven't
had
time to do.
Right.
I haven't had time to do.
But those intimidate me.
Yes.
All right.
They do intimidate you a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie.
This is the last question we have from Scott Perry. How is the tank modeling going? But we kind of covered that.
The tank's done. And the kit will be done shortly. It's just not yet. And the building, I mean. So, it's coming along, I say, this week. And then I'm going to be putting a lot of photos up on this one.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that wraps up our questions of the week. Now, I have a band that you should be listening to. I think I sent you some previews for it yesterday.
Man. They're really messed up, but they're funny.
Dude, this is my favorite band right now. I listened to them when I was running today.
Uh-huh.
It's called Psycho Stick.
Oh, my gosh.
And there's a song called
hilarious.
Beer. That's a song about beer. We like beer. We like beer. And stuff. Like, there's another one called...
That's hilarious.
There's another one called Numbers I Can Only Count to 4. And instead of like drowning pools, let the bodies hit the floor... It's, I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. Ah! You know? There's some ones I won't discuss on here. And then there's some other ones on here like Zombie Claws and 2-ton paperweight where he talks about his car being a hunk of shit. And it's a 2-ton paperweight. Man, dude, I love this band. They're going to get old quick because it's kind of corny. But for now, I'm obsessed with them. What about you?
Hollywood Undead.
Oh yeah, they're good. They've been around for a while too.
I've been listening to the Hollywood Undead, and let's see what else on here. This is more recent, but some Tupac.
Did you just say Tupac?
I did. I listened to Tupac.
It's Tupac.
Only 2 or 3 songs. Oh, okay. Tupac.
My dad is not allowed to talk about rap music. Yo, have you heard that band Tupac?
It was just on. Okay, it was on and I say, that's pretty good. So I kind of listened to a couple
Tupac.
more. The new System of a Down.
I sent that to you the other day.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And the Slipknot we were listening to last weekend at the workbench. Down on the way out, we were listening to Slipknot. So I've been kind of listening to some of them. The Hollywood Undead, I really enjoy some of their music. Some of it's not so good, but a lot of it I
like their older stuff.
Although I think they're a bit of a ripoff from Eminem, a little bit. I think they copy a lot of Eminem.
No.
I think they have Eminem tendencies. I like they're wannabes.
Nah.
You know?
Nah.
And
no.
A little bit of that, a little bit of I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit of
I mean, you could think
Eminem
that, but you're wrong.
/ I don't know. Well, whatever. But anyhow, so that's what I was listening to, and
nice.
That's it. So I've been doing that at the workbench and kind of keeps. I was listening to Eminem too, for that matter. But even though some of the stuff I listened to with him, I don't necessarily agree with the lyrics, but at least they're catchy tunes, and he's a genius with rap music. As far as if you're gonna rap, I'm not a rapper guy, okay? But if you're gonna rap,
obviously he's not a rapper guy because he called Tupac Tupac.
Right, Tupac. This is what it looks like to me. But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna be a rapper, I mean, and if I'm gonna listen to anything, it's gonna be somebody who's creative and amazing with lyrics, and the guy's a genius. Yeah. So when it comes to that, so I'll listen to it. I guess I don't necessarily agree with the content of the lyrics. But I like Rage Against the Machine, same deal.
Dude, Rage Against the Machine is off the chart. I love Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, me too. It makes you just want to.
I could run through. Yeah, man, I could just run through my basement wall when I'm listening to Rage Against the Machine. It's like a cartoon when they run through the wall and there's a shape of the body left over, and it's just I could do that when I'm listening to Rage Against the Machine.
So.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, hey, I don't really have much else.
Me neither. That's crap.
We're gonna wrap this show up at 171 episodes for now. Doesn't mean it's gonna be it doesn't mean it's gonna be maybe the final ever episode because we have podcast equipment. We might pop on for some random ones here and there every now and then, but we're not going anywhere. We're gonna be around. It's just our lives are moving into a direction that we have to change things that we're doing, and to be honest, this was just one of the things that was made more sense to handle now before it got out of control and my dad and I got burnt out. So we're not going anywhere. You're gonna see us on Facebook. We're still interacting.
We still love the model. If you aren't there,
if you aren't already part of the Overtime at the Bench Facebook group, you need to go over there now. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Make sure you head on over there now. Request to join.
We'll be in and out of there a lot.
By the way, Carl won the contest for this 2x2 build.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
by the way.
so
all those entries were great.
They were all good. And Jason, so Jason needs to get that trophy to Carl, the traveling trophy. And Dan Pugach asked if we were going to do another one. And I think we will do another one, but it will be after the group build. So maybe the end of May, beginning of June, we'll do another contest for the traveling trophy.
Sounds good.
But yeah. Anyways,
sounds good.
Head on over to Overtime group page, join the group, join the fun. We will be definitely we're not going anywhere. We're going to do live videos. We're going to do YouTube. I'm going to try and do more YouTube videos because I actually enjoyed doing the YouTube videos in the past. So I'm going to do more YouTube videos. My dad and I are going to do more live videos on Facebook and YouTube since we figured out how to do that now.
Yeah.
And, there's more to come from us. It's just, this is the end of the road for this specific medium. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Hey, for the last time, thanks for listening. Thank you for joining
appreciate
in.
It.
My dad and I truly appreciate everything that you guys have ever done. Just even listening to us has meant a lot to us. So, we do sincerely appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the next chapter here.
Peace out.
All right. Goodbye.